Yo, 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 what it do? Cheeky crew. Hey guys, listen. I know it's been a long layoff. I'm back with another video. Nice night of picks for Saturday night. UFC 315, Montreal, Canada. Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. I think this card's going to be excellent. I think it's the best Canadian card we've had in a while. But let's get right into the picks for the first fight of the card. We got an actually really good matchup, an absolute banger in my opinion. Beksat Almacan versus Brad Katona. And for this matchup, I am going to pick Beksat Almacan by a first round KO. And I know what you're thinking. Brad Katona, UFC veteran, real good fighter. Been in the UFC for a while for a reason, you know? Won tough, if I remember correctly, but it was the Connor Chandler season, so not a big accomplishment there. But you know what I mean. Still an accomplishment. But here's the thing. One, Katona's got fucking T-Rex arms, man. This guy ain't gonna be able to outreach Beksat, if you know what I mean. And two, this is the no-brainer part. Look at Beksat's debut. What does Brad Katona have to offer him that he can't beat? You know what I mean? You look at Beksat's UFC debut. He wrestled with Umar Nurmagomedov. He dropped him in the striking. He dropped Umar in the striking. That's crazy. He's got excellent kickboxing. Not as good kicks as Umar, but far better boxing in my opinion. Absolutely phenomenal boxing with crazy KO power as well. You don't really see that with a lot of these bantamweight guys, but he's got some mean KO power, I think. You look at his fight tapes, mean motherfucker. And Brad Katona, he's aging. He's on the downturn. Got them short, stubby arms, as I said. They're just feeding him to Beksat. And I don't want to sound like Rogan here. If you look at Beksat, who does that to Umar Nurmagomedov on short notice? So yeah, I'm going Beksat by KO, 75% confidence. He's a lock, I think. For the second fight on the card, second fight of the night, I should be saying, we got Daniel Santos versus Jiang Young Lee. This is a tough one. I'm going to be honest, guys. This is a tough one. I wouldn't recommend betting on this one. There's a reason these odds are damn near even. Here's the issue with Daniel Santos. He's done good. He's done all right. He's 2-1. Not bad. Has been out for a while due to injuries. I've seen him have like 6 fights booked, 6 fights canceled. We're talking like a 2023 Hamzat here. You know what I mean? A 2020, like late 2023 to like early 2025 Hamzat here. He's just getting booked and pulling out, and it's this huge mess with him. And he's going up a weight class here. That should help him, in my opinion. When you see a fighter move up a weight class, they're less likely to get injured. They're more mobile. They have a better frame. They're more healthy. They're more healthy. I'll say it like that. And he's fighting Jiang Young Lee, who, if you look at him, kid's fucking ripped. You look at him, huge guy. I don't know who to pick with this one. I think I am going to go with Jiang Young Lee. Stay with me now. By point fest decision. The kid's got a 6.5-inch reach. And he's just been on a better run. He's been more active, in my opinion. He hasn't had those crippling injuries that could destroy a career of a young guy like Daniel Santos. I think he's just more trustworthy. We've seen him more recently, if I believe so. He's the guy who had the fight with Hyder Emil and took a fuck ton of punches from Hyder Emil. I rate that highly. I think Hyder Emil is a great fighter. He could be top 10 right now, in my opinion. That's just my honest take. But either way, I'll go Jiang Young Lee, 29-28 split decision point fest. Going to be a lot of controversy surrounding this one, in my opinion. but it'll be the right decision. You know what I mean? I'll say that at like 45 to 35% confidence. I don't really trust this matchup, to be honest. All right, for the early prelim closer, the third fight of the night. I'm actually really looking forward to this matchup. It's an absolute bumweight classic up there with Julian Marquez versus Cody Bumdidge. Those sort of fights, you know? A Tuco Tacos versus what's his name? Junior something. You know, it's an absolute bumweight fight we're talking about here. Marc Andre Barrios versus Bruno Silva. And I'm going to be honest, this is a hard one to pick because they're both so crazily washed. They're both the same age. They both sort of fucking suck. And always have sort of fucking sucked in a way. And they're both on these huge loss streaks if you really think about it. Not if you really think about it, if you just look at the papers in all honesty. But either way, this is a rough one to pick. I'm going to be fair. But the more I think about it, the more clear it is. If logic means anything in the sport and prevails, Bruno Silva should win by like a first round KO. If you look at Bruno Silva, most his wins come via like a first round KO finish. If you look at Marc-Andre Barrios, most of his wins come by like a decision where he's landing these sort of thudding punches and going forward like a bull, but he doesn't have the best chin. So he's just sort of brawling with you, but he's getting stunned and he's landing thudding shots on you and getting stunned as well. He wins wars. He wins warring decisions. I'll put it like that. But all his losses, almost all his losses, come via first round KO. He's very chinny. So if you really look at the logic behind it, you got a KO guy who's been competitive with Alex Pereira, Shara Magomedov, all these guys, right? Only reason I'm really not confident in him is because of that Ismail Narduev loss, which isn't a bad loss, but it's just not on the same level, and he just got schooled in that fight. He looked like he gave up when shit wasn't going his way. But Marc-Andre Barrios got flatlined twice in a row. Got flatlined by Dustin Stoltzfus in his last fight. Flatline KO in like under 2 minutes. That's crazy work. I can't pick someone who that happens to. I'm going with Bruno Silva by first round KO at like 55% confidence. I'm pretty confident in this one, but it's a bit of a risky bet, you know? Especially since the odds aren't out yet, at least not on the UFC fight page. Now for the prelim opener. The fourth fight of the night. We got a light heavyweight bout. This is one I'm actually really looking forward to because it's a really interesting lower level stylistic matchup of like two prospects sort of facing each other in like this thudding power puncher, this big, bulky, thudding, brawling power puncher, in Ivan Erslan versus this technical city kickboxing striker in Navajo Sterling, this long, lanky, young gun. This is a hard one to pick. I'm going to be honest. But I've been having visions. I've just been having this idea every time I think about this matchup. It's looping in my mind. Where Navajo Sterling is just dominating the fight. He's winning it. And he gets too overconfident, or he overextends on a punch, or he gets caught in a long exchange, like he stays in an exchange too long, and he gets caught by Ivan Erslan, knocked down. Ivan Erslan hops on top of him, TKOs him. And I'm just looking at it, and it just makes sense. Like, I don't know how to put it. I see it. I see it happening. That's the best way to put it. I know Navajo Sterling should probably win. He's a talented fighter, but he's young. He's got 6 fights. He's inexperienced. With that inexperience comes cockiness, comes overconfidence, especially when you're 6-0, undefeated in the UFC. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be a superstar. I'm training with Israel Adesanya and Dan Hooker and Carlos Ulberg. I'm going to be a future champion at this point. That's what you're thinking in his shoes. And then you start looking past your opponents. You start looking towards the rankings, towards the belt, neglecting the matchup in front of you. And then you're locked in the ring with that guy, with this big brawler who's knocking out these Polish KSW, I wouldn't say bums, they're like mid-level fighters, lower-level UFC fighters. Left and right, though, he's knocking them out. You lock him in there with him. He's going to be overconfident. He's going to be throwing these long combos, trying to get a highlight reel finish, trying to show his striking, show his dominance. And he's going to get caught by this shorter, stockier, durable monster. This guy who was out Kutalaba on the feet, if you know what I mean. That's what I think. That's really what I think here. And I don't mean to be like, oh, the curse is this, the curse is that. 2025 has been a terrible year for prospects, especially undefeated ones. And if you look at Navajo Sterling, as I said, 6-0. I'm going to go with Ivan Arslan by late first, early second round KO. Navajo Sterling's just going to be dominating him, and then he's going to get caught and he's going to get put away. That's my honest opinion here. So yeah, Ivan Arslan, KO, 55% confidence, I'll say. Now for the next fight on the card. The featured prelim, I believe. No, not the featured prelim. Should be the prelim closer, in my opinion. This is an absolute banger. This is my fight of the night candidate, if anything. Because if this goes to a decision, it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be huge. It's going to be fun. But we've got Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Shit, the odds closed. Ion's the favorite. I remember when this was even odds just yesterday. Completely even odds, but Ion's the favorite now. And for good reason. I'm picking him. First round KO. Against Modestas Bukauskas. And I'll tell you why. I don't mean to underrate Modestas. He's a great fighter. Great run currently. But if you look at his wins, his last two finishes have been against absolute bums. Rafael Sequeira is an absolute quitter. A KO over him is no good win. We saw how he crumpled against Ibo Aslan. Fuck. Got the last fight stuck in my mouth still. My bad. But we saw how he crumpled against Ibo Aslan with the slightest tinge of adversity. I don't think that's a good KO. I really don't. He's a quitter. And then before that, we have Marcin Prachnio by submission. Marcin Prachnio is a karate guy. He's a karate combat guy. He has no submission defense. He has no grappling defense. Of course, fucking Modestas was going to submit him. Anyone with like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt will submit Marcin Prachnio if they take him down. He was sticking his arm up in the air. Of course he was going to get fucking arm triangled. Before that fight, what happened to Modestas? You know what happened. He got chinned by fucking Vitor Petrino. And that's the matchup that really seals the deal for me here. Because you look at Ion. He's on a good streak right now. 2-fight streak. Very good for him. He derailed a huge Turkish prospect in Ibo Aslan. Finished him in the first round. That's a really good win in my opinion because that's someone who actually has submission defense and he submitted him. He used his wrestling and he submitted him. That's huge. But the submission part is irrelevant. He rocked him on the feet. That's what I'm really interested in. He rocked him on the feet. And he dropped him if I remember correctly. That's huge. That's huge right there. And if you look at Ion Cutelaba and you look at Vitor Petrino, you just see like two strong, stocky, well-rounded fighters, in all honesty, with some shitty fight IQ. You look at Ion, he has all the skills needed to be a great fighter in the light heavyweight division. He has the wrestling there. That's huge. He has the striking. He's got that sort of brawly style, but it works. He's got that mean power with it. He has the entertainment value. The UFC is willing to push him and keep him on longer. That's why he hasn't been cut yet when he was going on that sort of downturn. And he's only 31. He's in his prime. He's found out how to use his skills. He's focused in. He's focused in. He has that fight IQ now, I think. And with that, I think we're just going to see a new Ion. He's on the upturn hugely here. And so is Modestas. But Modestas is 33. He's near the end of that upturn. Got KO'd by Vitor Petrino 3 fights ago. Which, as I said, if you're getting KO'd by Vitor Petrino, who's this similarly well-rounded, sort of stocky brawler type, with mean power, I just think Ion Cutelaba is like a faster, less powerful, but a faster Petrino. With better wrestling, too, maybe. I think you can argue that. So it's like, if you're getting caught by Petrino and you're getting put out cold by him, Ion's going to finish you by TKO, I think. He's going to get in even quicker than Petrino did, and he's going to get you by that TKO, and it's going to be mean and it's going to be brutal. So I'm going Ion Cutelaba, first round KO, I think. First round TKO, actually. 65% confidence is what I'm thinking. Hell yeah. I love Ion Cutelaba, so this is probably a bit biased. I'm rooting for him heavily. Picked him in his last 2 fights. We saw where that got me. Got me good. I think I'm going to get it again. I think I've got this again. We are sleeping Modestas Bukauskas. We are going to win light heavyweight gold in the Ain't Alive trilogy for real. Yeah, Ion Cutelaba, first round KO, late first round, 65% confidence. He's got this. All right, for the next fight of the card, I'm not as hyped for this one, if I'm being honest, but I am more confident. We've got Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. And let me read out some stats for you. Andrade is 5'1", Jasmine is 5'7". Andrade competes, generally speaking, at strawweight. Jasmine competes at flyweight here. All right? Andrade has a 62-inch reach. Jasmine has a 68-inch reach. Do I really need to, explain this? I'll explain it a little more. Andrade sucks on the ground. Jasmine Jasudavicius dominates there. Andrade, she brawls on the feet. Sorry, I'm getting pissed off with how shitty Andrade is. She cost me a UFC 300 pick there. Oh my god, that Marina Rodriguez fight was a fucking robbery. I'm sorry. And if you're losing to Marina Rodriguez, you're not fucking good. You're just not. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Andrade fucking sucks. She's a brawler on the feet. Jasmine Jasudavicius is actually technical there. Alright? Jasmine Jasudavicius is dominant on the ground. Andrade sucks there. You get her down, she's like a turtle on its back. Dead in the water. I swear. Jasmine Jasudavicius is going to dominate this fight. 30-27, UD, 70% confidence. I'm not going to make her a lock. I'm not going to dwell on this any further. The only reason she's not a lock is because she's a WMMA fighter, fighting one of the few women's fighters with power, which does make me a little nervous. But outside of that, she should clearly win. That's how I'm going to put it. Jasmine Jasudavicius, 30-27 UD. Damn near lock, 70% confidence. And for the prelim closer, we have Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. I want to tell y'all something. I know people are really hyping up this fight and shit. I know they are. I think it ends in a quick finish. People are saying, oh, this will be fight of the night, this, that, this. Mike Malott was a featherweight. He got chinned by a 2-0 Hakeem Dawodu. Do you guys not remember that in the PFL? Mike Malott was 5-0, Hakeem Dawodu was 2-0. And he got chinned by him. He got put out cold by him. Hakeem Dawodu, the guy who lost to fucking Cub Swanson. I don't know how else to put it. The guy who lost to Cub Swanson chinned Mike Malott. And you're telling me Charles Radke can't? The guy who was having a competitive fight on the feet with Carlos Prates until he got that knee up the middle to the body? You're telling me he can't put a Mike Malott out cold? The guy who's been beating multiple other guys. He's 3-1 in the UFC, only losses to ranked competition. Mike Malott got TKO'd by fucking Neil Magny. You understand what I mean? I don't think Malott wins this one. I think he gets chinned pretty badly. That's my honest take here. He doesn't do well in Canada, especially on the pay-per-views. Everyone he's been on, he's lost. I can't back that stat up. I'm just lying out my ass, I think. But it sounds true. So, it probably is. But anyways, I'm just saying, I think Radke puts him out cold. First round, I'll say. I've got this one at like fucking 55% confidence, let's say. Mike Malott could take him to a decision. He could submit him. Charles Radke was having a competitive fight with Blood Diamond, I'll be fair there. But that was a striking matchup, and Blood Diamond is an excellent kickboxer. Very well decorated in that field. So it's like, not the worst performance in all honesty, you know? It's like, no, I was going to make like an Alex Pereira comment on like, with like Bruno Silva being competitive with Alex Pereira, but it's not in the same boat. Blood Diamond was nowhere near as good as Alex, but he was good in kickboxing, very good in kickboxing. Whatever, that's irrelevant. Charles Radke, first round KO, 55% confidence. That's all you need to know. For the main card opener, we have a terrible matchup here. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Prepolek. My fault. This is such a shitty matchup. I can't even lie. It's so upsetting. Because, like, I was really hyped for that Yoel Alvarez fight. I was going to pick Alvarez by 30-26 UD, while all these other guys were going to pick him by finish and shit. I had my little smirk ready for when Alvarez would fail to finish him and shit. Because Benoit's just too fucking tough for his own good. But he would get, like, absolutely dominated. Yoel would have dominated Benoit in that fight. I'm not even going to lie. But I don't think he would have finished him. But whatever. That don't matter. I'm just upset that fight fell through. So instead we've got this shitty, short notice, 35-year-old bum replacement who's 0-2 in the UFC before this and just got re-signed for this fight. I think Benoit KOs him in the first, let's say, 2 minutes. It's not, do you think Benoit's going to win or do you think Kyle's going to win? It's not, what round does Benoit win in? It's, what minute in the first round does he win in? What second? I'll go 1 minute, 30 seconds. KO. Violent. Brutal. He's going to KO Kyle. It's going to be brutal. The guy's going to be out for like 3 minutes, I think. And they're going to carry him out on a stretcher, and Dana's going to hand him his release forms. He's going to say, hey, you're out, bub. Thanks for the step-in. You're out. So, yeah, Benoit Saint-Denis, first round KO. First 2 minutes KO, I should say. 95% confidence. If Kyle wins this, the fucking France is doomed. I'll put it like that. France is doomed if Kyle wins this. There's no coming back from that whatsoever. For the next fight on the card, we got Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. If y'all don't know, I fucking hate Alexa Grasso. I don't think she's funny. I don't think she's cute. I think all the guys lusting after her feet pics are fucking gross and disgusting. I'll put it like that. And I think she's like the most Mickey Mouse champion of all time. All time. Fucking Cinderella champ over here. Like, she fluked it. She fluked a win, got the belt, got a robbery decision, and then she got dominated. I've never seen someone devolve over a trilogy while in their prime, whilst facing the person consecutively, like Alexa Grasso did. Each fight, she just got worse and worse and worse and worse, in my opinion. I'm going to go with Natalia Silva here, but I'm not done ranting about Grasso. I'm really not. She fucking fluked a back take off a spinning back kick from Valentina Shevchenko. I can't get over that. That's like the flukiest win. Fluked a back take and got a submission. Woohoo, so good. Such a good win. Second fight. Draw? Are you fucking kidding me? The fifth round being a 10-8 is absolute bullshit. If any round should have been a 10-8, it should have been the second. But even then, that's not a 10-8. Valentina Shevchenko clearly won that fight. I'll put it like that. She clearly won that fight. Very clearly won that fight. Alright? And before the title, we're just going to ignore Alexa Grasso's last fight because that absolutely sucked. Throwing up triangles every round, not even getting close to getting them, didn't practice a single bit of takedown defense. It was horrible. But anyways, if you look at Alexa Grasso's record before the title, this highlights how much of a Mickey Mouse run she was on. Can you guys name me who she beat to get her title shot? I'll wait a little. A 36-year-old Viviana Araujo, who out-grappled her in that fight, who she was having a competitive striking matchup with in that fight. Before that, who did she beat before that? I'll give you a second again. 1, 2, 3. Joanne Wood, a 37-year-old Joanne Wood, who was 1 and 2 in her last 3, or 1 and 3 in her last 4, I believe. One of those two. Yeah, 1 and 3 in her last 4. With 2 of those losses by submission. And you're telling me Alexa Grasso submitting her is a good win? It's not. It's really not. Who is Alexa Grasso's best pre-title win? It's her fight before the Joanne Wood one, I'll say it like that. I'll give you a minute. It's a 21-year-old Macy Barber who was just getting into the UFC. Now, don't get me wrong, Macy Barber is fucking good. But you're telling me that beating a 21-year-old is some fantastical feat here? It's not. It's really not. I'm going with Natalia Silva by like a boring 29-28 UD. I think she has all the tools to beat Grasso, and I think Grasso fucking sucks. So yeah, Natalia Silva, 29-28 UD, 65% confidence, we'll say. Alright, for the featured fight of the card, we've got Jose Aldo versus Amin Zahabi. And if you guys don't know, this fight really fucking pisses me off. Like, these, 3 fights Down the no, yeah, these three fights so far through the main card are fucking pissing me the hell off. Because like, why are we matching Aldo up with Zahabi? Aldo said he wants fun fights. That's why he came back for the fans to give them fun fights. That's why he's accepting these names. I respect that. I want him to have fun fights. I want him to give us fun fights. I love that from him. I'm very grateful for it. I'm not saying we have to give him Legends matchups. I'm saying we should give him fun fucking bantamweights, is what I'm saying. Why are we giving him Ayman Zahabi, who's a point striker here? He's a fun guy. He's an alright guy. He's a nice guy. But he's not like the greatest pressure wrestler or going to give us absolute war with Aldo. He's going to give us a boring, unmemorable fight. That's all it's going to be. And the thing with Aldo is it's not even going to be a finish. He's leagues above the Sahabi guy, and it's not even going to be a finish. Because Aldo is a decision machine at bantamweight. Doesn't have a single KO there. That's the worst part. Not even going to be finish. It's going to be a guaranteed decision. It's going to be like a point striking sort of thing. We're going to be like, oh, Aldo's got to win again. It's very nice. Yada, 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 yada. Why couldn't we do Aldo versus Marcus McGee? I see the UFC's booking Jan against McGee. Why not book Aldo against McGee? That's all I'm saying. Put him against this entertaining striker with KO power who can be finished, who is susceptible to these leg kicks that Aldo's really good at, who is susceptible to these combinations in this kickboxing that Aldo's really good at. Have him have a war. Have him have a very fun competitive decision. That's what I think we should have done for Aldo. Not fucking Ayman Zahabi, who the only reason he's getting Aldo on home soil is because they needed to beef up the Canadian card with more Canadians. They're the same age. It's not like Ayman Zahabi is this prospect here. He's fucking 37, same age. Aldo's like a few months older. And it's just pissing me off. It's really just pissing me off. With that being said, Jose Aldo's going to dominate him. That's what I think. Originally, I was thinking maybe Aldo gets the KO. Maybe he gets the finish. Maybe he gets the TKO by just crumpling Zahabi up. But then I watched some more tape, and I saw Zahabi is a fucking good defensive striker. I'll put it like that. He's a really good defensive striker. So it's not like I think Eamon's gonna get finished. I don't think he's gonna get finished. He's a good enough defensive striker. He's defensively sound enough to not get finished here. But I do think Aldo's just gonna dominate him wherever the fight goes. Like the only weak spot for Aldo is the clinch. And I don't think Zahabi is that good there either. Like Mario Batista, he's a clinch mastermind here. You watch the Damon Blackshear fight, he was doing the same thing in that one too. You look back at all his fights, doing the same thing with all of them. But Jose Aldo here and Eamon Zahabi, he's not like that. He's not like that, thank God. So I don't think Aldo is going to get clinched. And in that case, I think he's just going to dominate. I think it'll be like a 30-27 UD, in my opinion. Maybe a 29-28 that should be a 30-27, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's a Canadian home crowd. They're going to give Eamon Zahabi a few rounds, you know what I mean? But yeah, this matchup just pisses me off. I wish we could have seen Aldo against a Marcus McGee. I would like to see Aldo against maybe a Montel Jackson. That would be a fun fight. Or Aldo versus Damon Blackshear. That would be a really fun fight. Put this guy on a huge grappling streak against Aldo. I think that would be a great fight, in all honesty. That would be excellent. Think about it. It's just, why are we giving him these boring fighters? Or these fighters who aren't going to make for fun fights? Not necessarily boring, but like just not fun. You know what I mean? Why are we giving him these matchups? Why not give him fun guys? Not even veterans, not even legends fights. Just fun guys. Obviously, I would enjoy the Cejudo matchup if Aldo wins this one, which he will. So yeah, maybe give him that Legends fight. Maybe give him a Cejudo as well. I think that could be just as fun. But anyways, Jose Aldo, 30-27, UD, 75% confidence, 80% confidence even. This is like my lock of the night in my opinion. It's just such an easy pick. Now, for the co-main event, we've got the women's flyweight title bout. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. I see the odds have closed in on this one. I remember Fiorot being like a a minus 180 and stuff. I'm glad she's a smaller favorite because easier for people to make money on her now. Anyways, I think Fiort's got this one in the bag. I think Valentina Shevchenko is insanely washed. Fucking losing to Alexa Grasso and then having a close fight with her is crazy work. She's not that good. And Valentina Shevchenko is 37. She's not getting any better. She showed she's not getting any better. She relied heavily on the takedowns in that last fight and didn't do anything with them. Manon Fiorot, she's big, she's strong, she's physical, she's younger, she's more powerful, and she's going to be able to shrug off those takedowns really easily. And I think on the feet, she just pieces up Valentina. I think the power difference here is substantial. And I think she's going to do horrible things to Valentina and win by like a 49-46 decision. That's my honest opinion. 49-46 unanimous decision. I'll be quick with it. I'll put it at like a 55% confidence because like at the end of the day it is Valentina Shevchenko, but you know how it be. Now, for the main event of the evening, we've got our welterweight title bout. The entire fate of the UFC lies in the hands of fucking Belal Muhammad here. This is crazy. But anyways, Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Honestly, people are underrating how fun this matchup is. People are underrating how good this matchup is. I love this matchup. This is a huge fight. I'm hyped for this fight. It's going to be fun. I'll just put it like that. It's going to be fun. You look at the styles, both guys really play into each other's weaknesses quite well, and I think that'll make for a very competitive matchup. If you look at Belal, he struggles with these strikers with very strong takedown defense and very powerful boxing. With like all that technique and that power, it gets to him. It gets to him because his whole thing is, oh, you're pillow handed. Oh, you're not a very good boxer. You're not as technically sound as me. I'm going to get in close. I'm going to overwhelm you. I'm going to box with you. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to set up the takedown afterwards. He just can't do that with Jack Della Maddalena here. That's the issue. He just can't do that with Jack Della Maddalena as well. Giacomo Maddalena. And if you look at Maddalena's weaknesses, he's weak to these like really good pressure fighters who have very good conventional wrestling. And Belal has some of the best conventional wrestling in that division. And not just like pressure fighters who are good with conventional wrestling, but physical big ones as well. Very physical ones. And Belal is very physical. That's the thing. That's the huge difference maker here. And I'll just put it like this. You look at the Burns fight. JDM was getting held down quite bad. I think he was up at least one round. He was winning the third round as well. I thought he won the second and the third before the finish, obviously. Fucking Burns landed 0 strikes in that third round. But oh, it's a fucking robbery. It's a fluke. When it's our favorite fighter that's crotch sniffing or whatever. Fucking bullshit. I'll put it like that. Bullshit. But anyways, he was winning that fight, but he was getting held down. He was getting scrambled a lot. And Burns, as I said, kept him down. And if Burns is keeping you down, imagine what Belal will do. Belal is this fucking dominant wrestler with strong top control, and he actually knows how to lock in a body lock, which is huge. If you look at an Usman, if you look at a Edwards, if you look at a Colby, none of those guys can lock in that body lock really well. And that's what costs them their fights here, you know? All of them, you can turtle out of their positions usually. Belal, you can't do that with him. You try doing that with him, he'll just lock in that body lock. He's on your back for the rest of the round. And honestly, with this fight, there's two ways it plays out. It either plays out like Belal versus Vicente Luque, in my opinion, where Vicente Luque was piecing up Belal on the feet, but it wasn't enough to like outweigh Belal getting the takedowns and just dominating him on the ground. You know what I mean? Or it plays out like Jeff Neal versus Belal Muhammad, where Belal Muhammad just can't get the takedowns here, and he's getting outstruck, and he just gets outdamaged, and he gets demolished on the feet. You know what I mean? There's two ways this plays out. And I think I'm leaning towards the Vicente Luque one. And I hope Belal wins. Not because, like, I hate the Jack matchup or whatever. Or I hate Ilya versus Charles and Belal. Sorry, not Belal. Jack versus Islam. I think both of those are really fun fights. They're not as good as Ilya versus Islam, but both of those fights are really good. If you, like, booked both of those fights, I would enjoy that. I would be very happy still. People are like taking them for granted as a possibility because we have such a good fight that can happen if Belal wins. But it's not because I hate Jack that I'm rooting for it. And it's not because I want that matchup to happen super badly either. It's because I really like Belal. He's our champ. He's our Chicago champion. I think he's a very nice guy. And I think he's the easiest stylistic matchup for Buckley in the title picture. And that's the main thing. If you're an easy matchup for Buckley, I hope you stay on to the belt for as long as possible. I hope Belal beats JDM, beats Shavkat, and then Buckley gets his title shot against Belal, and then he'll beat Belal there. That's what I think. But either way, enough rambling. I think Belal wins by 48-47 unanimous decision. I have this sitting around like 65, 55% confidence. It's always hard to be super confident with these like, yeah, 55% confidence, even 50% confidence. It's really hard to be confident with these sort of matchups where it's like championship fights. It's very hard to be confident in a championship fight because both guys are just so fucking high level. That's hard to pick. But yeah, Belal 48-47 unanimous. All right, so that's my picks for the night. I want to thank you all for watching my video. Make sure to like, subscribe. You all know the drill. Anyways, as I promised at the start of the video, yeah, I feel like I owe an explanation for the fucking long ass layoff, 4 fucking weeks or 5 fucking weeks. My bad with that. Really my bad. I was busy with school a lot, but it was mainly technology issues. I was editing on CapCut for my first few videos, and then CapCut stopped working, and then my computer, I couldn't download a bunch of editing services on my personal computer because it's fucking out of warranty. The virus scan fail thing won't allow me to download even images on it. And so I had to set up editing softwares on my on the family room personal computer that's really just me and my brother's computer. But yeah. So yeah, there was that. I was busy with school. I was busy with life. That was a huge thing. Like last week I had a prom. I could have done a video then. I really could have. But I'm sorry, I'm not doing a fucking UFC Iowa fight night video. Especially when that fight night was so fucking close to me, it pissed me off, bro. It pissed me off that that fight night was so close to me in location. But it's like, one, takes place during the school year, two, it's 5 hours away. Not bad, but it's like, how am I going to get there and then get back? You know what I mean? By the way, wasn't going to do a video on that. But yeah, life stuff, tech issues, as I said, mainly, and school. Can't do a lot of homework when I gotta fucking graduate. Sorry, can't do a lot of videos when I have to fucking graduate. But anyways, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Right about now, I'll have the Instagram being made. Like, the Instagram will be up. The Instagram account for the YouTube account, obviously, will be up when this video is dropped. I'll link it in the description. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. You all know the drill. And yeah, have a lovely day.